You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
1 hour to the weekend, Grayson. We're going to make it.
Not for me.
Oh, that's right. You got to go to Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
1 hour to the weekend for me. 1 hour to Broken Arrow for you. Broken Arrow's a nice place.
No, Broken Arrow's a nice place. Nothing against Broken Arrow. Well, more like 3 hours because it's a 2-hour drive from out here.
Yeesh. What are you broadcasting tonight?
A soccer game.
Oh, it's soccer.
Yeah.
Okay. Good on you, man. I don't know nearly enough about soccer to broadcast that sport.
I lived with 2 roommates who were big Premier League fans my senior year, so got immersed in it about a year ago.
You going to call the game in an English accent?
Oh, God, no. Oh, no. I don't have. Dude, I did 3 baseball games yesterday. I have energy to do a broadcast, but I do not have the energy to do it in an accent that is not mine.
I think that was hilarious. Listen, I'm not a soccer fan, have no reason to watch soccer broadcasts at any level, but I would tune into a high school soccer broadcast solely to watch you do it in an English accent. If I was told that was part of the deal, that's the kicker that's going to put me over the top immediately.
You know what? If I get to the 918 and decide, you know what, I'm going to try this thing out, I will let you know.
Hey, I mean, like that. If you want to go viral, that's one way to do it.
Fair.
If you want the internet clout, which means Steely will probably make fun of you on our show for the next 3 weeks. But if you wanted some free clout, all you got to do is call a high school soccer game in an English accent, and you're set. You could do 2 voices. You could do the color commentary in an English accent and the play-by-play commentary in your regular voice.
I do have a color guy with me, so I won't have to do that.
Just tell him to take the night off.
That could.
Say, hey, man.
My alter ego is going to be my broadcast partner tonight.
Go hit the bars. I got this. Taken care of. Locked In is brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones Buick GMC out in El Reno. Family owned and operated. They pride themselves on having the best service technicians and friendly service advisors that put your needs first, and they have half-price oil changes on Saturdays. So, if you don't have weekend plans yet, swing by Dorsey Jones Buick GMC for a half-price oil change. One-star Colin Claremore and Reformed Homer have demanded to hear your goal call.
I've actually never held the goal part. I don't know. I'm more because I have more of a basketball broadcasting background.
So you mean to call like you're just like, and that's a goal?
No,
like golf broadcast
style?
No.
It's hype, but I've never gotten to that part yet. To that yet.
And he sends a blistering rocket into the go.
You sounded more like Darth Sidious than a soccer broadcast.
Oh, let's dig into recruiting here before we get too off kilter here, off the bat. We had some news come across the wire earlier today, and that is the news that there is another linebacker that's going to be taking an official visit to the University of Oklahoma. Another one. It feels like there are a dozen linebackers on the board right now for Oklahoma, or thereabouts, going into official visit season. I mean, Nate Dreiling is pulling no punches in his pursuit of what probably needs to be, as we have discussed, a class of 3 or 4 backers in the 2026 cycle. To that end, the Sooners have locked in an official visit from a backer that just picked up the offer last week. Ben Wenzel from Appleton, Wisconsin. Going to Big Ten country for linebacker talent, which, hey, from a business standpoint,
not a bad idea.
Big Ten's got some good linebackers. The other 2 main contenders for Ben Wenzel's services are Kansas and Wisconsin. Again, OU has just gotten involved. He's never been to campus. have no idea how this is going to go. But obviously, any linebacker is going to be mindful of Brent Venables' reputation and what he's been able to do with his rooms over the years. And so Oklahoma's going to be a strong consideration for Wenzel. 6'3", 218 pounds. Again, Appleton, Wisconsin is where he's from. Very interesting dynamic between him and the hometown school. I'm going to have to dig more into it, but he has an official visit scheduled with Wisconsin. He does not yet have an offer from Wisconsin, which is very odd. I mean, seen that type of thing before where a school schedules an official visit with a kid before they extend the offer. Generally what that means, well, almost invariably what that means is they're going to extend him the offer while on the visit and make a big deal of it. But it is curious to me that Wisconsin, being the hometown school for Ben Wenzel, is putting that offer off. But it's Kansas, Wisconsin, and Oklahoma for the talented linebacker prospect. And again, Grayson, that underscores the reality that Nate Dreiling, as soon as he showed up, said, you know what, we're going to cast a very, very broad net.
And I think it just underscores the theme of the offseason where Oklahoma's been very aggressive in going after what they want. Whether it's running backs out of the portal, whether it's offensive coordinators, whether it's going to get the GM who has subsequently gone out and been aggressive in getting other people. Now you've got your assistants going out and casting, like you said, casting a broad net to make sure that they don't end up short of what they want to end up with. You were kind of caught by surprise with Cole Gonzalez leaving. Now you've got 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Okay, we got to go figure that out. They're not going to get caught in a situation where we have less than what we want. And that is certainly a mindset that should inspire confidence in everybody following this team and rooting for this team, that we're going to do whatever we can to make sure we have the requisite parts that we need to make sure that we are covered regardless of any event.
Well, there's a recognizance, too, baked into that Oklahoma only has 4 commits right now. And the last thing you want is to be treading water at 12 or 13 commits in August, trying to figure out who else is going to make up the remainder of your class. And so because Oklahoma only has 4 commits, I imagine that encourages this staff to be a little bit broader in the scope of their recruiting efforts going into OV season, because they got to understand, hey, we got to give ourselves lots of opportunities to score during OV season, because we can't just focus on 2 or 3 guys at a given position, and if none of them wants to spring at the opportunity to be a Sooner during OV season, then all of a sudden we're going way down the board in July, August, September to figure out answers. You'd have to think that, especially at a position like linebacker, there's a decent chance that Oklahoma has to say no to a kid or two, just with the quantity of backers that Oklahoma is pursuing right now, which, I mean, that's where you want to be as an institution. You would rather have to say no to a kid that wants in on the class than to have to figure out alternative solutions because you don't have enough kids on your board that want to be members of the class.
And that's where you get to the casting the wide net part, because you want to have the highest amount of people who want to be in the class. That way you can say no to some of them. Because and here's the thing with these personnel staffs too, and the jobs of the GMs, with the way that kids can go in and out after a season, the job of the GM and a personnel staff is to make sure that all the talent is replaceable, whether it's from the portal or whether it's from guys who are coming up from being underclassmen to now being asked to do more. So if you're taking 4 in the case of the position of linebacker, you're doing this more out of necessity because you're going to lose a lot of talent, both coming into this year and after this year as well. But there are other positions, if we just want to broaden the conversation for a second, there are other positions where you can start to bring in guys just to make sure that talent is replaceable. And I think what we're starting with position coaches like Nate Dreiling and going out to the personnel staff, that's your job now at this particular moment in time with this particular landscape.
KW918 on the text line, 405-651-3439 if you want to chime in throughout the show. KW918 says, BV is widely regarded as the best defensive coordinator and linebacker coach in the country. I would think he could handpick 2 or 3 of the best linebackers in each class and get them. Why the need for a broad net? Where's the disconnect? Well, because, look, is Brent Venables the best linebackers coach and best DC in the country? Yeah, probably. There's a very strong argument. If not Brent Venables, then who?
Jim Knowles, probably.
Well, and there are several guys with a case, but I think the majority, if you were to pull the entirety of the college football fan contingent across the United States of America, Brent Venables would probably be the guy that gets the most votes. However, even so, there are individual circumstances that play into every recruitment such that you can't take anything for granted, especially not these days in the era of NIL. But even if we're not talking NIL, for instance, if we hearken back to the 2023 recruiting class, do you remember leading up to signing day for months and months and months who it seemed Oklahoma was dialed in prime position to add to their class? And no, I'm not talking about Peyton Bowen here. I'm talking about Tasilia Kana from the state of Utah. He was the #1 prospect in the state that year. He was a top 100 overall prospect in the country at the linebacker position. And his recruitment down the stretch came down to OU in Texas. And there was a ton of confidence from the OU side that he's going to be a Sooner. He's coming to Norman. The Sooners got an assurance from Akana hours before he was supposed to sign that he was indeed following through and he was going to be an Oklahoma Sooner. And then what happened? On signing day, he inked with the University of Texas because his sister played volleyball, I believe it was. She played volleyball there at the time. And obviously, NIL was involved as it typically is. But you can be certain of something. And trust me, the folks in that building were certain that they were getting to Celia Kana, and then it falls through. And you can't be without recourse if that happens. I mean, silver lining therein, if Tasilia Kana winds up in Oklahoma's class, Taylor Heim never does. And Tasilia Kana has done virtually nothing in his collegiate career. Spent 2 years at Texas, didn't see the field at all, I don't believe, and has since transferred to BYU. Taylor Heim hadn't done much of anything either, but early indications this spring are that he is on the verge of working his way into a role at that linebacker position or potentially at the cheetah position for Oklahoma moving forward. So, butterfly effect, but that goes to illustrate the primary point there, which is that even if you feel like you have got to have backup plans. You have got to have contingency plans in place. Ben Arbuckle, to that point, has offered one quarterback and only one quarterback in the class of 2027. He is seriously recruiting only one quarterback in the 2027 class, and that's Peyton Houston. But he was out yesterday checking out another 2027 signal caller, and a real talented one in Weston Nielsen from Bastrop, Texas. In the event that whenever Peyton Houston's decision comes down, for whatever reason, he wants to go be an LSU Tiger or a Texas Longhorn or a Texas A&M Aggie instead of a Sooner. So OU leads. I would say leads by a good margin right now for Peyton Houston. And Arbuckle has done his part to make it abundantly clear to him and his family that he is the only priority right now for Oklahoma in the 2027 cycle. But as the esteemed philosopher Mick Jagger once wrote, you can't always get what you want. But, in the case of Taylor Heim, if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. So,
well done by you.
Look at that.
Not
bars.
Bars from Parker Thune.
Well, originally bars from the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
the Parker Thune spin on them.
Yeah, you didn't write that. But that is interesting too. And it's funny we're talking about the 2027 class now and contingency plans, but we still have this mess going on at the quarterback position in the 2026 class that more or less Ben Arbuckle has gotten the Sooners wrapped up in. as it pertains to Jaden O'Neal and Bo Bentley.
Uh-huh. I mean, and like, that's true. And I don't know what the outcome is going to be, and I don't know whether folks are going to hold Arbuckle culpable if the outcome isn't desirable for Oklahoma. But, I mean, that's completely fair to say, because if Bo Bentley never gets the offer from Oklahoma, we're not having any of the conversation about will he, won't he with Jaden O'Neal. So we got a super interesting text from, I believe it was Michael and Marlowe, that I wanted to dig into, relevant to that point on Bentley and O'Neal. But we're running up against a break, so how about this? Let's hit a break, get a quick word from our sponsors in, and when we come back, we will start off the segment with this text from Michael and Marlowe regarding the Bo Bentley situation and its impact on Jaden O'Neal's continued recruitment moving forward. If you want to chime in with thoughts of your own on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line or any questions you may have, 405-651-3439 is the text line. That's where you can reach us all throughout the show. You're listening to Locked In here on a Friday. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Every year, over 4.5 million people are attacked by dogs. Almost half of these victims are children. A dog attack doesn't inflict only physical scars. The invisible ones are often even worse.
Dog attacks can cause devastating lifetime injuries. They can shatter our sense of safety.
At McIntyre Law, we understand the emotional toll of a dog attack. We are here to guide you on your path to recovery step by step. If a dog attack has affected your family, call us at 405-777-7000.
Considering refinancing your mortgage? Now might be the perfect time to start planning. With rates on the move, Stride Bank can help you determine if you may be able to lower your monthly payments, shorten your loan term, or tap into your home's equity. Stride's expert mortgage advisors will work with you to tailor a solution that fits your needs. With local roots and national reach, Stride Bank is your go-to partner for all your banking needs. Stride Bank, your trusted financial partner since 1913. Find out more at stridebank.com. Stride Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Big wins are blooming across Riverwind Casino.
And the jackpots have never been sweeter.
Go all in on your favorite table games.
Hedge your bets on the biggest wins and unbeatable entertainment. Use your wild card for the best perks and the top rewards.
And play for your share of the $100,000 Lucky May Days giveaway.
Win with the best.
And we'll see you at Riverwind.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
5 Iron Golf is now open in Yukon, Oklahoma. Escape the Oklahoma weather and play world-famous courses like Pebble Beach on state-of-the-art TrackMan simulators. Perfect your swing with expert coaching or just kick back with delicious food, craft cocktails, and a lively sports bar vibe. Planning a party, corporate outing, or fun night out? 5 Iron Golf has you covered. Visit 5 Iron Golf to book now and experience the future of indoor golf and entertainment in Yukon.
They say if you don't like the weather in Oklahoma, wait 5 minutes and check it again. Nope, not there yet. Ah, that's more like it. Being comfortable is important, and if it's -5 degrees or 100 degrees, Norman Air has you covered. Our impeccable quality and unbeatable service is what sets us apart from our competitors. It's just part of our mission to keep Oklahoma comfortable. Visit normanair.com for all your heating, air, plumbing, and electrical needs. Norman Air, service to the max.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I'm doing much better now. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned.
My victory is getting my life back.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
What are you waiting for? If you're anything like me, that question keeps you up at night. So don't wait for someone else's green light. Do the things you love right now at More Norman Tech. We'll get you out of the classroom and into the real world with hands-on experience in whatever feeds your fire. So get after it. Oklahoma needs more doers, and doers don't wait. More Norman Tech, powered by Oklahoma Career Tech.
Man, I need to get out and play some golf this weekend. That's what I need to do.
Are you going to wear sunscreen this time?
Probably. Yes. I will now that you mentioned it. I'll be reminded of that as I'm walking out the door. But, man, I got to get back out on the golf course. It's been too long since I got out and swung the sticks. No diddy. Yeah.
No
any of y'all want to hit the golf course this weekend? Let me know on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Or if you have questions about OU football and recruiting, you can shoot those at us on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line as well, 405-651-3439. So I'll pay off the tees right off the bat. This first text I want to get to comes from Michael in Marlow, who says, Thune, I listened to the Under the Visor pod last night. You said you didn't think Bentley would make it to his Georgia official visit. My question to that is why? Georgia's decision? Why would he take an OU visit when they have a quarterback committed and not Georgia in a similar situation? Well, yes, Michael, you answered your own question there. He wouldn't take the official visit to Georgia because, well, Georgia's no longer in the market for a quarterback. They got Jared Curtis, the 5-star prospect out of Nashville Christian. So, they're done at the quarterback position. They're recruiting for one spot. They got their one guy. They no longer have need for Bo Bentley. And so that decision you'd fully expect comes down to LSU and Oklahoma. And yes, Oklahoma has a quarterback right now, but they've made it abundantly clear that they are recruiting for ideally 2 spots. I have long said I do not think there is any world in which they get both Bo Bentley and Jaden O'Neal. I think if Bo Bentley commits to Oklahoma, that means Jaden O'Neal makes the decision to leave the class. And if Bo Bentley does not commit to Oklahoma, Jaden O'Neal stays in the class. But yes, that's the reason why Bo Bentley would not take his Georgia OV, is because Georgia really has no reason to host him. OVs are expensive, man. I forget what the number was, but I think it was reported a couple years back that on Arch Manning's OV weekend to Texas, they hosted maybe 8-10 prospects that weekend, as I recall. The university spent something like $240,000.
Damn.
Yeah, these get pricey, man, because you're paying for travel,
Right.
You're paying for lodging, you're paying for the experience, whatever that looks like over the course of the 2 days that those guys are there, events, food, all that type of stuff. So if you got your quarterback, there's no real reason to spend a couple G's on Bo Bentley, flying him out there to take a look at a school that he probably wasn't going to go to anyway, and a school that, from your standpoint, you no longer feel like you need his services because you got Jared Curtis. So I think that clears things up significantly in the Bo Bentley recruitment. That already felt like an OU-LSU battle. Now it's all but official. That is an OU-LSU battle. A verified source says, I'll play with you, Thune. You just got to fly to Indianapolis first. Well, that's tough. I don't know if I can swing that with this little notice. Maybe next weekend. We'll see. I know I'm coming up to Indianapolis in June, so maybe then.
What are you going up there for?
The Rivals 5-star. Assuming the Rivals 5-star still takes place.
Why would it not?
Well, because does Rivals even exist anymore?
That's a good point.
Yes, technically it does, but does the Rivals 5-star become the On-3 5-star? Does the 5-star go away now the two brands have merged and it's under new management, and maybe the new management decides that you don't need to have a 5-star event? I don't know. I have no clue. I'm planning on going to Indianapolis in the month of June right now. So until or unless that changes, then I'll probably hold off on making the trek up to Indianapolis for whatever that is, 6-7 weeks.
And you're probably going to what? You're probably going to drive up there, aren't you?
I genuinely do not know. Because that right there, you know what? Let me map this. Let me see how far it is from where we are right now
Thune,
to Indianapolis.
That's 3-4 states away.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware. I'm talking hours-wise. Okay, yeah, 11 hours. It's an 11-hour road trip. That's like right on the borderline for me.
What?
Would I drive that or would I fly? Does it make more sense to fly?
How long are you going to be there?
2-3 days.
Bro. Bro, just hop on a plane, my dude. Come on now.
Look, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Generally, if it is within a 10-hour radius, I am driving because I would rather get there and have my own vehicle as opposed to flying into somewhere and having to rent a car because, red tape, additional headaches, additional responsibilities. If I roll up in my car, I can, pack as much stuff as I want to or need. Don't have to pay attention to how much it weighs. And then when I get there, I have my own car to drive around.
This is all good and fair until we get to the 10-hour drive part. I don't know about you. My knees are too bad from all the basketball I played to sit like that for that long.
You have a knee guy?
Probably should get one. I have tendonitis in both of my patellars.
Oof.
So I probably should get one.
Yeah. Might need you ever get like massages or stuff like that? Can you massage the knee? I guess I don't even know. I've never had knee issues, so. I have had back issues. I have had back issues in the past. Those aren't fun either. But I've been mostly able to get past them. Drew from Plowbound says 11 hours I probably wouldn't mind driving. I mean, from DFW to El Paso is 9 hours.
Yeah, my family drove from DFW, like northeast DFW where we're from, to La Cruces, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
That was an 11-hour drive, and that was hell.
I've been through Las Cruces.
Have you really?
Yeah, my 01 Ford Taurus started misfiring in the desert like 30 miles east of Las Cruces on a 115-degree July day, and I thought, this is it. This is how I go. But made it through. Made it to Las Cruces, made it to an Advance Auto Parts, and by then the car was fine. It just stopped misfiring. So
that's interesting. I mean, I'm just not a big road trip guy. Give me 5 hours, 6 max. That's what I can do in a car.
Dan in Madison, Mississippi says, Parker would have a hell of a time convincing somebody he's old enough to rent a car. There's the problem.
I'll say I'm not old enough to rent a car.
Jay in Tulsa says, Yo, Grayson, tendonitis in those knees can be cleared up with a couple of cortisone shots.
How much money do you think I make? Aren't those cortisone shots like those things are like pricey, aren't they?
I don't know. Might have to figure out a way to get your hands on some black market cortisone. Save some money.
I'm good.
Kyle from Sallisaw says, with all the dogs on defense, how does the coaching staff make sure all dogs eat? If they don't, retention may be tough next offseason. Yeah, I mean, look. You're trying to win football games, right? And so you're going to play the best dudes, the guys that are dominating, the guys that are winning their individual matchups are going to see the field. I don't think there's really I don't think it's really a thought. I don't think it's a factor in the calculus for Brent Venables and the staff that they're making sure all the dogs eat. No, they're making sure they put themselves in the best position to win football games. Now, I think what you saw in the Navy game, for instance, the Armed Forces Bowl, where you were seeing dudes like Lewis Carter and Taylor Wine and Davon Jordan, Jeremiah Newcomb, guys that hadn't seen a ton of time all season that suddenly were playing substantial snaps in the bowl game. That's more of a game plan that has retention in mind. But honestly, at that point, what happens in the Armed Forces Bowl is relatively inconsequential. I mean, no one has, we talked about the Armed Forces Bowl for a day after it happened. The difference between 6-7 and 7-6 in the grand scheme is not that significant. And so in bowl season, if you're playing for a bowl that really doesn't mean much of anything, yeah, I get it if you're trying to make sure everybody gets in on the action, everybody gets some snaps, everybody gets some PT. But for the most part, you're playing SEC football, you're putting the 11 best guys on the field that you feel like give you the best chance to win every single down.
And defense is not like we're not talking about wide receivers here where they get a little bit ticked because they didn't get the ball thrown their way enough. You can run to the football. I mean, defense, I think, is more about, effort and scheme fit. Now, snap count has something to do with it, why you would leave, but it's not as if you're tracking your targets and, you're mad that you're not getting enough touches. So it's less of a delicate balance on defense than it is with offense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably understood among staffs and among front office personnel across every single Power 4 program that you're going to be replacing a big chunk of your roster every single offseason anyway.
Yes.
And so unless it's a guy that you feel like is absolutely integral to the future of your program, I mean, let's say, just for the sake of the argument here, a guy like Cortland Guillory, who's shown a ton of promise and that you believe is going to be an all-conference dude in the long run, all of a sudden comes to you and he's like, I feel like I'm not seeing the field enough. I might want to leave. Then, okay, A, because you know that guy can hold his own out there, and B, because you want him around in the long run, you may be willing to flex him into a larger share of the snaps. But just to pick another random example here, let's say the season rolls around and Jake Taylor does not crack the starting five. And he's sitting there on the second string all season, and come end of season meetings at the beginning of December, he's like, I think I probably need to get out of here. Just from a business standpoint, I got 1 year left of eligibility. I got to go somewhere where I can play. The coaching staff at that point is probably a lot more inclined to say, okay, man, just go your own way. We'll figure it out on our end. You're not going to bend over backwards to keep a guy like that around. It's only if you feel like it's somebody that is absolutely integral and irreplaceable for the future of your program. And that's a very short list anyway. Across the board, that's a very, very short list. Let's see what else we have on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Kyle from Sallisaw says, the random examples are exactly what I was looking for in an answer. Well done, sir. Thank you, Kyle. Paleo and More says, I regularly drive 14-plus hours one way to Kalamazoo and back at least twice a year. I also drive for work, so a day trip to Grand Lake or Broken Bow is no big deal. See, that's the thing, man. I just drive so much as it is that lengthy road trips, they don't really move me. I don't get bored.
That's valid.
I don't feel like, I don't get antsy on the road for hours and hours and hours.
Podcast guy, music guy, what's your road trip entertainment?
All of the above. Podcasts, music, phone calls, quite a bit. Yeah.
Sports podcasts or something, or do you try to divert away from it?
It could be a variety of things.
I'll tell you what. Your next road trip, Crash Dummies podcast.
Crash Dummies?
Yes.
Educate me.
It's hilarious. You want the podcast that has the most hilarious callers into it? Crash Dummies podcast. I'm telling you.
Is this a sports podcast or a non-sports podcast?
It is not a sports podcast.
Okay. What is what category would you put it in?
Lifestyle and entertainment.
Lifestyle and entertainment.
They literally just talk about everything and then take callers for an hour.
So basically what we do every single day.
Damn near.
Except we have a focus, and that is OU football and recruiting. But as you people have seen throughout the week, this show can go in a variety of different directions at any given moment.
But that would be my recommendation to you.
Crash Dummies. Okay. I'll have to check it out.
You'll find them. Search them on TikTok. You'll find the little clips, and you'll see why people listen to it.
Zero Star Joe says, okay, you guys keep talking about Bo Bentley. What is your player comp to him? I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm not sure this is a comp that anybody wants to hear right this second, but if we're just talking what his high school tape is reminiscent of, there's a lot of high school Jackson Arnold in the way that Bo Bentley plays the game. And high school Jackson Arnold was the Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior in 2022. So high school Jackson Arnold, regardless of what has befallen college Jackson Arnold, high school Jackson Arnold was a menace. And Bo Bentley has a lot of similarities, man. He's not like a 4-4 type dude. but has great mobility, is willing and able to make plays with his legs, can get outside the pocket, throw accurately on the run, or he can hang inside the pocket and dice you up downfield as a pure drop-back pocket passer. So there's a lot to like about Bo Bentley's game. There was a lot to like about Jackson Arnold's game coming out of high school. It didn't work at Oklahoma for a variety of reasons. But I think when I look at Bo Bentley, and especially how he compares to a guy like John Mateer in terms of toughness, just the willingness to put the body on the line, willingness to go between the hashes when he tucks and runs as opposed to angling for the sidelines, and the plays that he can make with his arm in addition to his legs. I don't even know what the proper term would be, but just the variety of ways in which he can hurt you from the quarterback position. I think Bo Bentley is a very, very natural fit for Ben Arbuckle's offense. And I think it's fair to say, Grayson, as we've talked about before, if the ideal Ben Arbuckle quarterback is John Mateer, Bo Bentley is a lot better suited to that style of offense than Jaden O'Neal is.
I don't think there's a question, and as for your comparison to Jackson Arnold, I have nothing to add to that. I mean, I think it's spot on. And, well, look, here, I thought that the main reason Jackson Arnold went off the rails with Oklahoma is that he was being poorly coached in the quarterback room. I thought his positional coaching was so below standard that he had no chance, given everything else going on around him. And that doesn't absolve him from, some of the mistakes that he made, but I thought there was no way he was going to get better. If the quarterback coaching situation is that much better, that should give you, as a fan, a lot more hope that Bo Bentley would translate, if he ends up here, would translate better to the college realm and put on a much better performance than Jackson Arnold did.
I think Jackson Arnold's going to have a decent year at Auburn.
For some reason, I do too.
I don't know if it'll be a prolific year, but I think he'll have a decent year down there. I haven't sold all of my Jackson Arnold stock just yet. Hey, new offer for Oklahoma today at the running back position. Been a while since Oklahoma got involved with a new running back in the 2026 class. We will discuss that and more on the other side as we wrap up Locked In here on a Friday. You're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Keep it right here.
The word is spreading, and the Ref Army is growing. Keep telling your friends and family that there's only one station for true Sooner fans, and that's the Ref Radio Sports Network, and worldwide on the KREF app. The Ref is the home of Sooner fans and is once again your home for chaos. Every game-changing hit.
Long fly ball to left. Track. Whoa. Gone.
Every strikeout.
Got him. Swinging.
Every defensive gem.
He caught it. He caught it.
Every game, all year, the Ref has you covered.
Catch Sooner baseball in Lexington as they take on the Kentucky Wildcats this Friday at 5:30, Saturday at 11:30, and Sunday at noon on the Ref and the KREF app.
A happy place comes in many colors. One that leaves you feeling refreshed. Something that gets you all fired up. Or gives you the space to chill. Whatever your color, bring happiness home with CertaPro Painters and make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Get started today at CertaPro.com. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Hi, folks. This is Larry Knippelmeyer here at Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, USA. Conveniently located just 15 minutes south of Oklahoma City and 10 minutes west of Norman. With all the talk of inflation, market crashes, and tariffs, it's no wonder we're all afraid to make that new vehicle purchase. Now, with that being said, there will probably never be a better time to purchase your new Chevrolet at Knippelmeyer Chevrolet. No price increase or tariffs on our huge selection of in-stock vehicles. Pickups, SUVs, cars, and even Corvettes, all marked down and ready to sell. Interest rates are good, used vehicle trade-ins are high, and rebates and incentives are back on most new Chevrolets. So hop in that old vehicle and come see us at Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, where nobody beats our deal. Or give us a call at 405-485-3333 or catch us on the web at knippelmeyer.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
A luxury experience awaits you at the Artesian Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Relax in one of our elegant suites, complete with exclusive dining options. Take a trip to the Serenity Spa and let your cares melt away, or enjoy upscale shopping in our many boutiques. And don't forget to explore your gaming options for your chance to win big. Find your luxury experience at the Artesian Hotel, Casino, and Spa, 1001 West 1st Street, Sulphur, Oklahoma. Call 1-855-455-5255 or visit artesianhotel.com for complete details.
Hi, I'm Tanner Mordecai with the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm here to share my experience with the team at Mitchell's Jewelry. They came highly recommended, and my experience could not have been any better. I worked directly with the owner, Newt Mitchell, and he helped me design the perfect ring for my future bride. I was confident I picked the right one with the help from the great people at Mitchell's. Anytime my friends ask for suggestions, I know where to send them, and I'm telling you the same. If you want a great experience and the perfect ring, you can trust the team at Mitchell's Jewelry. Shop with them in Norman or check out their website or socials.
Every year, millions of pets go missing, leaving families heartbroken. If you lose or find a pet, Love Lost is here to help. Our free, easy-to-use database uses photo matching technology across multiple social media platforms to bring lost pets home. Just upload a photo and quickly search the largest national lost and found pet database. Let's unite to reunite, because every lost pet deserves to find their way home. Register today at lovelost.org.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
One final segment this week here on Locked In. Parker Thune alongside Grayson Singleton. The show brought to you, of course, by Dorsey Jones, GMC in El Reno. I mentioned it heading into the last break here, and that is the fact that Oklahoma, earlier this afternoon, extended a new offer to a running back in the 2026 class, which is good, Grayson, because that provides a very clear answer to a question that we had begun to ask, which is, what is Oklahoma doing at running back? There just hadn't been a lot of action there ever since Jonathan Hatton came off the board to Texas A&M and Caden Jones came off the board to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma remains in pursuit of a flip from four-star Honey Grove, Texas running back Rylan Morris, who is committed to Baylor at this time. But outside of Morris, as of right this second, there are no other running backs in the 2026 class that have official visits set with Oklahoma next month. Perhaps that will change, as Oklahoma has made an offer to a blue chipper from Peculiar, Missouri. Or is it Raymore? I don't know. He goes to Raymore Peculiar High School. It's a kid I got to know him when he was a freshman. Met him when I was up there covering a tight end that Oklahoma was recruiting back in the 2024 class, I want to say. Jaden Reddle, who wound up going to Georgia. But I've known Dezaphen Walker for quite a while now, and he is the latest offer for Oklahoma at the running back position as Oklahoma tries to get in on the action late for a prospect that is already quite high on Nebraska, on Kansas, and on Notre Dame. Those are three of the schools towards the top of the list for Walker. Have you had a chance to check out the tape yet?
I did. Here's what Sooner fans are going to love about this guy. And I remember we had this conversation as it pertained to Gavin Sawchuk's running style, or it was either Gavin Sawchuk or Javante Barnes, and how patient they were and just didn't hit the hole, and everything around them, basically the offensive line, had to be so perfect for them to succeed. This is not the case with Dezaphen Walker. He's a dude that's just gonna hit it, but he has really good vision. He has really good vision, but he's not gonna stand around dancing in the backfield waiting for that hole to open up. He's just gonna hit the hole. So that's going to fit more with what I think Oklahoma's working with offensive line-wise, at least to our knowledge right now. I think it's going to make him a guy that the fans are going to like with that kind of style. So a lot to like about Zayvon Walker. Good speed, 6 foot 205, good size on him to play in the SEC as well.
The other interesting aspect of this to me, besides the obvious fact that Oklahoma is now going to be, you would assume, squarely in the mix for another running back, is that it's a KC area offer. Raymore, Missouri. That's right there on the southwest side of Kansas City. And that's an area that Oklahoma had kind of pulled out of the last couple of years. Ever since the whole Caden Green fiasco, missing out on Williams-Winery to the University of Missouri, Oklahoma has not had much of a presence in Kansas City as of late.
Now, let me ask you this before you go on. Is that a conscious decision to do so, given recent events, or is that just a coincidence?
I think that's a conscious decision, or was a conscious decision. But I think what's become evident since Jim Nagy got to town is that Oklahoma is going to go anywhere and everywhere to find talent.
Which is probably the best strategy.
Mm-hmm. Before Jim Nagy got to town, Oklahoma's efforts were kind of focused on the state of Texas, obviously, and the Southeast, as well as the local radius, guys within the state of Oklahoma. But for instance, as we've seen with somebody like Mason James, right? Jim Nagy is not averse to just hitting the pass button on a guy that is right down the road. But if you have somebody that you think is worth the offer in a locale, in a region of the country where Oklahoma has made an effort to not be as prominently involved in the recent past, well, apparently the Nagy calculus dictates that we're going to go make it happen regardless. We're going to go get involved. And so this is very interesting to me for a number of reasons. The offer to Zayvon Walker as Oklahoma, you would presume, is going to be primarily battling, well, like you'd look at that list and you'd say Notre Dame is probably the most dangerous threat, right? But Nebraska has a lot of money in the coffers, as we've seen the last couple of cycles, especially with a couple recruitments that have gone the Huskers' way in head-to-head battles over Oklahoma. Cough, cough, Cortez Mills and Cade Petchak last year. So you cannot disregard the Huskers, and Kansas has been spending a lot of money lately as well.
He's already OV'd to Kansas, too.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I don't know where Oklahoma's going to stack up against those three, especially because those are three schools that Notre Dame is less inclined to spend money, but Notre Dame is Notre Dame, right? There's a very clear pull to each of those three schools for different reasons. Getting in the picture in May, especially when I know for a fact DeMarco Murray has been talking to this kid and maintaining a relationship with this kid since he was a freshman in high school. So he's been on Oklahoma's radar for a long, long time, but it's taken until May going into his senior year for the Sooner staff to pull the trigger. Can they get seriously involved? Can they mount a serious charge, a serious threat to the established contenders in this race?
So who are the established contenders? Because the offer sheet contains, like you mentioned, Notre Dame, Georgia's there, Miami's there, A&M, Ole Miss, Florida, West Virginia, Mizzou. Who are the Oregon there too?
Yeah.
Who are the main contenders right now for Zayvon Walker?
Yeah, Kansas, Nebraska, Notre Dame. Those three.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's trying to stay somewhat local.
Yeah, and Notre Dame is one of those schools where, I mean, you get it with Nebraska and Kansas. Again, a lot of money, a lot of opportunity there for a running back with those two schools and the individual situations in which they are. But Notre Dame is one of those schools that they just have pull everywhere because it's a very unique brand.
It is a unique brand and in a unique situation that they're an independent.
By the way, they offered Larry Fitzgerald's kid the other day, which it's like Notre Dame, if they have nothing else and they do have quite a bit else. They just played for a national championship. But if you took everything else away from them, man, they are they've become NFL legacy U.
Oh, yeah.
They've got Jerome Bettis' kid.
Uh-huh.
They've got Plaxico Burress's kid.
Wasn't Brian Urlacher's
Brian
kid
Urlacher's
there?
kid before he transferred to USC.
Ryan Clark's kid
Ryan
was there.
Clark's kid on the roster last year.
I think Ike Taylor's kid is going there, too.
No, Ivan decommitted, and he's
right.
going
he
to
did.
Alabama.
No, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, he's going to Alabama, but they had him committed for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Chunky Chuck says, what a strange top few teams to be in the lead for a recruit. That's how it is these days, man. You just
yeah.
You see weird groupings more than you ever have in the past.
Conventional wisdom for recruiting, if there was ever such a thing, has been completely shoved out the window now.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that has to do with NIL.
Yes.
But would it shock you? I know it wouldn't shock me. Think Oklahoma makes a few more offers at the running back position? I mean, just seeing how aggressive they have been in recent weeks at linebacker, most specifically, where it's a position they're going to need to be ready to reload. Running back feels like a similar situation there, right? Where you're not far off from having to turn things over to the next group. That next group being Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum, but then you got to have a younger contingent coming up after them. So I think this is a 2 running back class for Oklahoma, and you got to have more options than just Rylan Morris and Zayfin Walker, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And again, Rylan Morris is an option, but Rylan Morris is currently committed somewhere else too. So what if you don't succeed in flipping him? And then what if you don't get Zayfin Walker, which is the first time I've ever heard that name before. Yeah, no, they need to go out and make more offers. They still need to expand the board at running back, particularly because Haddon and Jones are seemingly off the board. And by the way, we all were a little bit surprised that Taylor Tatum remained on the team for the 2025 year. Who's to say we don't do that same song and dance next year?
Yeah, no doubt.
So, yes, this absolutely needs to be a 2 running back class, and you still need to continue to expand the board at running back.
Hey, Jim Nagy, if you're listening to this radio show, which you're probably not, you're probably doing more important things. But if you're listening to this radio show, I do know of a running back that I think the University of Oklahoma should extend an offer to. I might be partial to him because he's from my home state. But there's a back up at Millard South High School in Omaha named Nelson Wheeler that I think is a pretty flawless fit for the Ben Arbuckle offensive scheme. He's got quite a few P4s, Michigan State, Kansas, Wisconsin, and the like. Wisconsin in particular, like if Wisconsin's after a running back, you know he's a stud. Right? They don't have scrubs at running back. They're historically speaking, over the last decade and a half, 2 decades, one of the most successful programs in the country when it comes to evaluating and developing running backs. Love Nelson Wheeler's game, man. Wish Oklahoma would get involved there because I think he could really eat in Ben Arbuckle's offense. And, of course, that brings up the obvious question. How long is Ben Arbuckle around? Don't know. He's probably getting head coaching interviews before too long if his offense at Oklahoma proves to be all that. But, if there are more evals that need to take place at the running back position, there's one, man. There's one kid you could probably get involved with and have a real good shot at landing. That is the real deal.
Slim Brady on the text line. Is Texas recruiting a different level of athletes than Oklahoma is? It doesn't feel like we're competing with them for anyone right now.
Who are the kids right now that both OU and Texas are in on? Yeah,
It seemed like a lot of OU. It seemed like a lot of OU and SMU lately.
Yeah, it has been a lot of OU and SMU, and there are some OU Texas battles, right? Like Felix Ojo, for instance.
Yeah.
But even that one, like you give Texas the upper hand. So, it's a shame you texted that in right at the end of the show, Slim Brady. Maybe we'll talk about that in an expanded capacity on the other side of the weekend. We get back in on Monday, and maybe we can talk about that in a little bit greater detail. 972 listener says, does Nelson Wheeler have a high motor? He is not of the Caucasian persuasion, if that's what you're asking. So, no, nothing to worry about there. Kyle from Southside says, if I was recruiting him on CFB, I'd sway him with focus on proximity to home, brand exposure, and conference prestige. There you go.
That is still why I like Madden a little bit more, because I don't have to do all the recruiting stuff. I can just go sign free agents and make trades and play games.
The recruiting stuff is the most fun, man. Hey, Jim Nagy, there you go. Again, if you're listening, Kyle from Sallisaw is happy to take the lead in recruiting DeZaphan Walker to the University of Oklahoma. Let us know. Text us, 405-651-3439. That's it for Locked In here on a Friday. The Rush is coming up next. Teddy Lehman and Tyler McComas take over on the other side for 3 more hours of Sooner sports talk with all of you right here on the Ref Sports Radio Network, the home of Sooner fans. Everybody take it easy. We'll talk again on Monday.